apologize, Twilight, but we haven't spoken much lately. I haven't much input.
Say, Rarity, how have things been between you and Sweetie Belle?
Oh, just wonderful, darling. Why, just the other day we took a trip to the spa. Then she wanted to play in the rain. And then I showed her how I design outfits. But then she wanted to draw. It was a most enjoyable merry-go-round of delights.
That sounds more like a roller coaster to me. Rarity, I hate to say it, but I don't think you're telling me the whole truth here.
Why, darling, whatever do you mean? I dare say I resent your accusation, my dear.
All right then, let's look at this a different way. How quickly did you come downstairs after you thought something was wrong?
Immediately, of course, but I don't see what relevance that has to anything.
I don't have all the answers here, but neither does Rarity. Maybe I can get her to talk, if I make it seem like I know more than I really do. Rarity, I spoke to Apple Bloom earlier and learned that she witnessed Scootaloo crashing through your window last night. I also learned that Scootaloo stayed for roughly a minute before leaving the boutique. Now, if you came downstairs immediately after hearing the crash, don't you think you might have seen something?
I mean, that is... I suppose you do have a point.
Thanks, Celestia. It worked. Rarity, I hate to say it, but...
Why?
All right. I don't... Rarity, now. Thanks.
Why, thank you, darling. But I'm afraid that I haven't a clue what I'd use it for. Terribly sorry, but I simply cannot accept this gift.
I wasn't giving it to you.
You are correct, Twilight. I did see Scootaloo last night. I did not know what to make of it, and meant to protect her. I do apologize for not being forthright about it.
I understand, Rarity, but if that investigation team from Canterlot comes here and finds any of that out, what do you think their conclusion is going to be?
You do have a point, I must say.
All right, time to get to the bottom of this. All right, Rarity. Please tell me everything you know about what you saw last night. I can't help if I don't have all the details.
Of course, Twilight. I shall do my best. I finished my work for yesterday earlier than expected, so I had wanted to get my beauty sleep. I had been somewhat deprived, given that a certain client had made several last-minute orders.
Just a minute! Which certain client was this, out of curiosity?
Who else but Sapphire Shores? She gives me such good business. But I don't want to gossip, of course, but my goodness, does that man love jewels, Twilight? Although, I suppose her request was what got me searching for gems, which was what caused me to find True Blue in the first place. It wasn't so bad, all things told. Well, as soon as I get True Blue back, that is. Hint, hint.
Right, so anyway, you had just gone to sleep?
I had finally fallen into a blissful, restful sleep when, all of a sudden, I awoke to the sound of a loud crash coming from the first floor.
Just a minute. What kind of crash are we talking about, exactly?
The kind of crash that a window makes when it gets broken. Honestly, Twilight, I dare say I needn't spell this one out for you.
Right. So, what did you do when you heard this crash?
Well, I was just downstairs to see what in Celestia's name was going on!
Just a minute. If there were potentially dangerous thieves in your home, why would you have gone downstairs so quickly? Weren't you worried for your safety?
I suppose that I did not even consider the possibility that I might have been in danger, now that you mention it. But really, Twilight, that's rather beside the point, is it not? What I found there was awful, terrible, horrible! The first floor of my boutique, ransacked, ruined, torn apart! Oh, what is a man to do?
Just a minute. Wow, you seem pretty upset. I'm sorry.
Of course I'm upset! All that time put into organization and sorting and everything like that. Ruined! Just ruined! Now I'm going to have to put all that work into sorting the first floor all over again.
That's what has her upset? I know I can be a bit obsessive about organization, but sheesh.
Worse still, True Blue, my prized jewel, was gone! Snatched from my very home! And worst of all, the very first thing I saw when I arrived was an orange and purple pony darting out my door.
Just a minute. Rarity, this is incredibly important. Please tell me exactly what it was you saw here. Was there any chance, any at all, that what you saw wasn't Scootaloo?
Well, I'm afraid that it all went by so fast that I didn't get a very good look. I had to turn on the lights before I could see anything at all. And by that time, it had very nearly left. All I can say is that it was definitely something moving, and that I clearly saw the colors orange and purple.
But what about her cape? You didn't see that at all?
All I saw was her backside. Perhaps the cape had gotten wrapped around her fur when she crashed through the window. I don't know, Twilight. If that does not describe Scootaloo, then who would it describe?
Is she really the only pony who fits that description? Think, Twilight, think!
And if that was Scootaloo that I saw, then, well... I cannot explain what I saw any other way than to say that a Scootaloo purposely broke into my boutique to steal True Blue. What other explanation could there be?
Just a minute! Is that really the only interpretation there is for what happened?
I'm afraid I can't think of any other, Twilight. I do truly apologize. Surely you can see why I kept this from you, Twilight. This isn't Scootaloo at all. Yet, there she was.
I know this can't be right. It just can't. But is there anything wrong with what she's saying?
I finished my work for yesterday earlier than expected, so I had wanted to get my beauty sleep. I had been somewhat deprived, given that a certain client had made several last-minute orders.
Rarity, I know that this is going to sound entirely irrelevant, but I think I have a lead on what might have happened to Opalescence. At least, if not True Blue.
Oh, do tell, darling! Although I do admit that I must agree, in that I can't see how this is relevant to what we're discussing here.
I found some white hair right near the tracks outside the window, and judging from their length and color, I don't think there's anyone else they could have come from other than Opalescence. As a result, I think we can reasonably conclude that if those tire marks are from Scootaloo, then it's entirely likely that she crashed through your window completely by accident, not purposefully. She was probably trying to avoid crashing into Opal, which may well have spooked Opal into running away.
Really? But then, that makes things all the more peculiar. Because it is still the fact that she must have stolen True Blue, no?
let me ask a very important question before answering that. What if Opal herself stole the true blue, and then ran away with it?
Twilight, I must ask that you concentrate and get a better comedy routine while you're at it.
Now I know why Apple and the others were practicing. Anyways... Okay, but seriously, I have a very important question to ask. Is there by any chance another way in or out of the boutique? Any way that some thief might have left other than the front door?
No, I'm afraid not. The front door is the only way Samponi could leave. And since I already saw Scootaloo using the front door, I'm not sure where you're going with this.
I think I'm on the wrong track here. Think, Twilight, think! Alright, but let me ask another very important question. Do you, by any chance, keep your door locked when you go to sleep at night?
Why, yes, of course I do. But I don't see what that has to do with anything.
One follow-up question then. Do you also bring an opal from outside when you go to bed?
Of course! The poor dear, I couldn't leave her to fend for herself at night.
Then I think we've established something even more important than the accidental break-in.
Twilight, I must ask that you be more direct, as I am not following one word you're saying.
Alright, let's think about the facts of the case thus far. We know that you heard a crash and came downstairs to see Scootaloo quickly leaving your boutique. We can reasonably conclude that she probably was responsible for the broken window. However, we also know that the broken window was likely an accident, and that she had veered off course with her scooter because she was avoiding Opal, who was immediately in front of her path. You just told me, though, that you bring an opal and lock your door at night, so that raises perhaps the most interesting question of all here. Namely, what was Opal doing outside in the first place?
But she would have gotten out when Scootaloo opened the door, would she not?
That's not possible. Think about it. When was it that she veered to avoid Opal?
Right before she crashed through the window. Ah!
I trust you're beginning to see my point. If indeed your door had been locked and had remained that way until Scootaloo left, there would have been no way Opal would have been outside in the first place.
But that would mean that somebody else was in my boutique as well?
Exactly. I think we can reasonably conclude at this point that there at least is the possibility that someone else had entered your boutique before Scootaloo, and that they're the ones who opened the door so that Opal could get out. The question now, though, is who that would be, and that's just what I'm going to find out.
Well, good luck with that.
Are you still doubting me after all this, Rarity?
Well, it's just hard to see you as a detective.
Tell me, who was right about Nightmare Moon?
You, darling, but...
And who solved the mystery of the
You again, but I really...
And who recognized that Princess Cadance had been replaced by a fake?
Once again, you, but you see...
So, why does no punny ever listen to me?
Well, I suppose it's that eventually you must be due for getting something wrong. Wouldn't you agree?
I could explain the many reasons that argument doesn't hold any water, but by the time I even got to Bray's theorem, the Canterlot investigative team would have gotten here and convicted Fluttershy of something like running an illegal bear fighting club. Probably best to drop the subject now, while I have the chance. Sure. That, makes sense, I guess. Anyways, I'd best be off. More investigating and such like. Thanks for the help, Rarity.
Anytime, my dear.
Where do I go from here, though? It feels like I've talked to just about every pony. Other than Scootaloo, of course. Wait, Scootaloo. Scootaloo, that's it! I haven't talked to all the Cutie Mark Crusaders yet. And if Applebloom is involved, then the others probably are as well. Now, if I recall correctly, I can get to their clubhouse via the western exit of the town square. It's worth a shot, at any rate.
Well, I must apologize, Twilight, but we haven't spoken much lately. I haven't much input.